The feds opening a civil rights investigation into the man who died in police custody in Baltimore. The family, a lawyer for his family, says his spine was severed 80% at the neck. His name was Freddie Gray. About a week ago, cops arrested him after officers say he, quote, made eye contact with them, unquote, and then started running. So clearly 2 capital offenses, made eye contact and then ran while black. They say it happened in a neighborhood where a lot of drug deals take place. According to court documents, police say they found a switchblade in his pocket after they stopped him for the crime of looking at them. We have images from cell phone video of the arrest, just still images here. In the video itself, you can hear Freddie Gray scream again and again, and the man recording the video says, after they tase you like that, you wonder why he can't use his legs. Cops then drag him into a police van, and he appears to be fine. Police say the ride lasted about 30 minutes, and when it was over, well, he would die later. The police commissioner, says at one point officers shackled his legs because he was, quote, irate, unquote. He went on to say that Gray asked for an inhaler and several times requested medical care before cops then eventually rushed him to a hospital. Here's a picture of Freddie Gray before he died last Sunday. You can see he's hooked up to all sorts of tubes. Police say they're also trying to piece together what happened that day.
We will be looking specifically at our actions from the point that we came into contact with Mr. Gray up until the time that we requested medical assistance. Specifically, did we miss any warnings? Should we have acted sooner?
Police chief claims cops did not use excessive force, but he suspended 6 officers with pay. One of our producers interviewed the dead man's attorney. He says family members welcome the Justice Department's investigation. They just want the truth.
A man who didn't deserve it was horribly injured and died because he had an 80% severance of his spinal cord and a broken neck. How do you explain it? And thus far, there has been no explanation.
That was 10 days ago. He died 10 days ago, and they still can't figure out what happened in the van. Meantime, more than 1,000 protesters gathered just yesterday after word got out that the feds were launching an investigation. Reporters say the protests were mostly peaceful. The group rallied at the site of Gray's arrest and then marched to the nearby police station chanting Black Lives Matter and no justice, no peace. Let's bring in Fox News senior judicial analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano. The police say this began with 2 things: looking at them and running.
Well, clearly this was an unlawful and unconstitutional arrest, Shep, since neither of those acts, even those acts taken together, constitute the basis for an arrest. So we don't know why he was chased by the police, we don't know why he was arrested, and we don't know officially what happened to him while he was in custody. But let me suggest to you, it is unusual for the Justice Department to enter a case like this before the local authorities have. And I think that the reason the Justice Department has done so is not only because of the racial implications here, the decedent is black and not all of the cops are, but because the local government, the local prosecutors have had 10 days, as you just pointed out, to reveal a cause of death and to file charges against these cops, and they've done neither. The decedent's autopsy is completed. He is dead and buried. The toxicology tests should be completed by now, and silence from the local government, hence the entry of the feds.
That silence or similar silence in other cities has caused big problems. You would think that maybe there would be some advice for them, coming before the feds come in and investigate. Maybe just a little transparency. I don't know. It seems appropriate.
Well, Baltimore is a big city. It's an old town. It has had many racial experiences. It has a large and professional police force. It has a medical examiner. It has all of the tools that it needs to address this. The police department has its own legal team. Why there is this silence inviting the feds to come in, I don't know. But the entry of the feds does not bode well for these police officers as defendants, because the feds will indict for many things, many crimes that the local authorities do not have available to them, and the punishment for those crimes are probably more severe than the punishment for anything the locals can indict them for. Look for this to be accelerated soon, Shep, whether the locals do anything or not.
So far, nobody is disputing that 25-year-old Freddie Gray died from injuries he sustained while in police custody. The investigation is focused on how he got the injuries. There is videotape of the arrest along with court documents saying that Mr. Gray, quote, fled unprovoked upon noticing police presence, and that police found a knife clipped inside his front pants pocket, and he was arrested without force or incident. You can see as police drag him, he appears to be having trouble walking. Now listen to the deputy police commissioner.
I know that when Mr. Gray was placed inside that van, he was able to talk, he was upset, and when Mr. Gray was taken out of that van, he could not talk and he could not breathe.
Police say they knew that he was having trouble breathing, but paramedics were not called for about 30 minutes. After Gray was placed into the back of the van, police put leg shackles on him, then stopped to pick up another suspect. A metal barrier separated the two suspects, and there is no video inside the van. So exactly how Freddie Gray suffered 80% of his spinal cord being severed is what this investigation is all about. But keep in mind, police say the autopsy showed no physical trauma to his body, no evidence that excessive force was used. The protesters are fully indicating that severe spinal injuries don't just happen, and they believe there is a lot more to this story.
We want them fired. We want them charged with first-degree murder. Because, brother, if you committed such a crime, you'd be charged with first-degree murder. Sister, they lock you up and they throw away the key.
The police are promising a full and transparent investigation. Critics are skeptical of police investigating themselves.
He was looking at them, then he ran, then they took him, put him in a van, and when he got out of the van, his spine was severed 80% at the neck, and he died after looking and walking.